want y'all to know that my hair is about to be so messed up because of these headphones. But I'm doing it for y'all. Let's go. We getting immersed, man. We getting immersed, finishing up this binge. I'm ready. Who else is ready? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in. We are back for some more One Piece. Last time we watched episodes 398, 399, 400, and 401. Today we're completing this binge with episodes 402, 403, 404, and 405. Last time. We delved into the 400s. We have finally crossed that line between 399 and 400. We are now in the 400s officially here. Man, got a lot to talk about. In episode 398, we got to meet quite a few devil fruit abilities, such as Law. Not really sure on any of the names. They haven't gone too in depth with those, with that info. But seems like Law is able to make this sort of, I guess, realm. I don't know what you want to call it. He sort of creates this room. He literally says room. And within that room, he's able to just cut people up and switch body parts using, or not even body parts, just anything in that area. So someone put switch a cannonball in the head around using shambles, and he's able to put any piece he wants together. So it's kind of like his own little Lego set. He's just able to put different things together however he wants, which is a very, I don't know, it's it makes sense for him because he's so cool. He's the coolest, man. He's so cool. But it's not really an ability I was expecting. However, he is the surgeon of death. So, I mean, it makes sense to a certain extent, just cutting people up and, putting them back together. Kid is a bit more on the nose. It's sort of this magnetic ability. He's just bringing in metallic objects, and you can see some electricity spark from his hand whenever he brings stuff in, and then he uses repel. He's able to accumulate a large amount of metal objects and just make huge arms out of them, which is absolutely insane. Almost mimicking Gear Third with him and Luffy's little combo attack. Luffy's gigantic pistol, and then his, I don't know what he called it, I don't remember, but it was sort of just like Gear Third, but just with metal objects. Both had fists and just punched into the Marines. Admiral Kizaru was revealed once they were trying to plan out how to stop the Straw Hats and the other pirates here on the archipelago. After, Luffy put in his legendary punch, 396. Never be forgotten, man. 396. Put that in. Everybody put that in your books, all right? I don't care what book it is. Just write down episode 396 so you'll always remember that episode. And I think it was Doflamingo on the phone basically stated that it's going to be the Whitebeards versus the Warlords, or basically just the entire government, because the Warlords are a part of that, trying to get this whole ace execution going. And it's clear that Whitebeard is just willing to go through them and try and get his homie back, because that whole Nakama ideal, as I said previously, that whole Nakama thing, I think, runs within his crew, especially with how Ace treated Blackbeard after killing one of their crewmates. Episode 399, we got a few names for the Heart Pirates. Not Law, sorry. Yeah, it is Law. What am I talking about? So many names, I'm sorry. We got Beppo, this little talking polar bear thing. I don't know, that's probably a devil fruit. Polar bear, no, not even that. A person ate the polar or bear fruit model polar bear. He's a pretty proficient fighter. It seems as though he has a lot of kicks and punches, and he goes at them with lightning speed. Jambarl, who was the captain, that previous captain that Law freed from slavery, from the world nobles, and he told me, "You're gonna join my crew." He said, "You know what, man? I'd rather be a subordinate than be a slave under these freaks. So I'll join you, man." Warlord Kuma is on the island. This whole thing with Kuma is confusing me. I'm going to talk about it in a bit. But just this placement, I don't know if it's a timeline thing, we're looking at what happened after and before, in the middle, all that stuff, because he's here fighting Law and Kid in one scene, and then the next scene he's fighting Hawkins and Urog with alongside Admiral Kizaru, and then it's fine like another scene he's fighting Straw Hat. So I'm assuming it's like they're going through where they were at before, in the middle, and now after. So then like the most recent thing is fighting the Straw Hats. Episode 400, so much info. I'm gonna try to run through it real quick. Rayleigh lets us in on some insider information, being a part of the Roger Pirates, being first mate of the crew. Lets us know that Roger was actually diagnosed with an incurable disease for the final 4 years of his voyage, and within those years is when they were able to conquer the Grand Line, and he was crowned Pirate King by everyone else. It wasn't really something that he meant to be, but others around him coined the term, and he said, you know what, I fucks with it, bro. I'll take it. During that time, Crocus had actually joined their crew in order to take care of Roger, and try to halt, or not even halt, just slow down the incurable disease that he had. He tried his best, it seems, and his only condition was that they had continued to look for Brooke's crew, because that's around the time, years later, or years before, that's when Brooke had left, or Brooke and his crew had left Laboon with Crocus in order to sail around the Grand Line, and come back to get Laboon back. But it's been so long, and Crocus wanted to know, where are these guys? So let me go with these dudes. They look strong enough. Let's see if we can find Brooke's crew. But little did he know, there's no way of him knowing anyway, that they were in the Florian Triangle. The chances of them going on that pathway was slim anyway, just because there's so many pathways that you can go to reach into Mary Joa and sort of the Red Line to go into the New World. So it's just unfortunate circumstances, and he wasn't able to find them. But he was able to prolong Roger's life enough for them to complete the Grand Line here. And within that final year, it seems as though Roger knew everything was coming to an end. He decided to disband his crew, and turn himself into the world government. But before getting executed, as we all know, he let everybody know, you guys can find my treasure. It is in that place, as vague as he could possibly make it. Go find it and become the next Pirate King, finding Roger's treasure. A few questions that were asked by the crewmates themselves, which makes sense, because meeting someone as proficient as Rayleigh, he's like the next best thing to Roger, right? He's the first mate, so you want to ask him as many questions as possible. He did relay some information to Luffy, as Shanks and Buggy were swabbies on their ship, the Oro Jackson, built by my boy Tom. We already know, Frankie connected that. But Luffy, I think that was the first time Luffy had actually heard that Shanks was a member on the Pirate King's crew, and that's just baffling to him, it seems, which it should be, because that is Luffy's end goal, right? That's what he wants to be. And his answer, we're going to talk about that in a bit, about why he wants to become Pirate King, is great as well. But Robin does ask the Dark King himself if they knew about the true history of the world, what it was, and why exactly Roger was able to write in the language of the poneglyphs when they found the one in Skypiea. She was puzzled by that, because Rayleigh said they didn't know the language, but Roger, again, gives his vague answer. He was just hearing the voice of the poneglyph or something like that. And I mean, how do you make sense of that? The man is just I don't know what he is. He's like, is he a prophet? Like, what is this dude? You remember the scene of him walking to his execution that had some very biblical elements with the music and, the guards leading him away while he's chained up. It's just, there's something there as far as Roger's, I guess, sort of persona or his abilities go. But Rayleigh does ask her, like, do you really want to know? Do you want your journey to end here? Is that how you want it to go? He's like, really, girl? You got 500 episodes left. You don't want to know now? What are you gonna do for the rest of the series? She said, nah, we Gucci. She had her little picture of the whole crew, her family around her. She said, we cool. I'll find out on my own. That was great to see. And Usopp butts in and says, what happens? What happens, bro? What is the end? Spoil me right now. Does the One Piece exist? As soon as he's about to ask that, Luffy says, bro, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna fight you again. You're gonna square up again. And Luffy says he wants to become the Pirate King because of freedom. He knows that it's the freest that you could ever be. Pirates are all about freedom, but becoming the Pirate King, I don't want to conquer, I don't want to rule anyone, I just want to be free. That leads us into episode 401. See, there's a lot in 400. That was all just for one episode. We learn Kizaru's actual name, which is Borsalino, which is, okay, he looks very weird with those little banana suit and sunglasses, but the dude has some very immense power, to say the least. It was clear to me that he was a Logia user once someone tried to shoot him, but the bullet just went right through him. So it wasn't clear to me what it was, just because of the fact that we didn't really see what was coming out of him, because usually you see something along those lines. Right? Crocodile, he gets hit, you see sand. Ace, you see fire. Smoker, you see smoke. So it's sort of like they're the embodiment of that devil fruit, but you didn't really see what it was when he was getting shot. And we saw a few more devil fruits. Bonnie can change her age as well as other people's age around her. Capone can, I'm not exactly sure, he had like a building inside of him or something like that. As far as Bonnie goes, I'm thinking like age fruit or something like that. Capone, I'm thinking like house fruit, but it's also weird because he has that little field around him, and then when something comes out of it, like grows bigger. I'm not really sure where they're going with that, but he had his crew inside of him. That sounds weird, but that's what it was. Hawkins was able to transfer damage through like these voodoo dolls looking things, and then he gets hit, but then it goes to someone else, which is a pretty interesting ability to say the least. I'm not really sure what that could be called. With Law, I'm thinking slice fruit, maybe something along those lines, something simple. And then with Kid, like magnet fruit. We'll have to see if they ever mention what those fruits are actually called. But this episode ended with Kuma in 3 different places at once, and the crew getting ready to square up with Kuma over here. Also, the paws on his hands are gone, leading me to think that they made some alterations to him, because he is a cyborg. So I'm guessing because of his failure back in Thriller Bark, they made some changes to him and are bring him back out here. But those paws were very powerful. I don't know why you just want to replace it with a beam. I feel like the paws would be better, but we'll see where it goes. Let's get into it. Enough talking. Episode 402, full reaction link in the description. Let's go. He's firing his laser, man.